Good morning and welcome. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason coming to you live. And yes, it's Thursday. It's actually Thursday today. Yesterday, man, I was so bummed out when I realized, wait a minute, it's only Wednesday. But yeah, it is Thursday. Now I feel like I've worked extra because for half of the morning yesterday, I thought it was Thursday, but happy Thursday to you. Wow, do we got a lot to talk about from maybe the worst auction yet that occurred yesterday. Blowout earnings from one of the Magnificent Seven. Matter of fact, I'll say this. It was the best earnings report I've seen in a really long time. I got nothing but great things to say about it. I mean, these guys, they blew it away. Talking about NVIDIA, they crushed it. And then the guidance. So a lot of these companies, hey, they're beating the earnings, but their guidance has been terrible. Well, I shouldn't say terrible, but less than expected, right? It's been less than. Walmart, less than. Home Depot, less than. Even Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, right? Less than. Not NVIDIA. They blew it out of the park. We've got markets approaching all-time record highs all over the place. In Europe, in Japan, here in the U.S., recessions be damned, right? And war. We even got war news. Another escalation, and this time Iran with Russia in the war in Ukraine, and it just, all the elements are there, right? We've got this big bubble brewing. We've got currency problems. We got debt auction problems, and at the same time, you know, they're wanting to go to a digital currency and do all of these things. And of course, if it's going to be a big, you know, global event, which it looks like it's going to be, a good war is usually how, you know, it goes with it, right? You know, you think about like World War II, right? That was announcing the arrival of America now as the big superpower. So who knows, right? The year of chaos gonna be bad. Living up to its billing. We got the minutes from the Fed, and we'll give you updates. When are they going to cut rates? What about quantitative tightening? We've got all of that and so much more for you today. 800-951-0592. That is our toll. Of course, wealth insurance is what we do. Be diversified. Put away the gold and the silver today. We've got a really awesome special. This is, it's not just, preppers, but everybody out there. We just got some great items for you today, so stay tuned for that. allamericangold.com is the website. And Jason, news now that Iran has been delivering ballistic missiles to Russia, which to be used in the war in Ukraine. And at least as far as the European countries, you remember Barack Obama, I think it was it Syria? This is the red line, right? We've got the red line here. You better not cross that red line. Well, that was a bunch of European nations. Jason, that was a red line. Iran, red line crossed. Are we going to get this expansion? It seems like, right, Iran's got action going on both sides now.
Well, I think we might be talking about Iran in the next show. It depends on what Glenn is bringing to us. We'll see. There's getting to be a lot more attention on Iran, and we'll look at all sides of it in the next hour. I hope Glenn is planning to cover it. But Iran is glad to join BRICS, and they're glad to be a part of anything that's against the dollar. Iran is one of the last few significant countries that doesn't have a central bank that actually works, with the system, so to speak. North Korea, Iran, a little bit of Syria. There's not very much that's a part of the world that doesn't running this world system. And I think this is where the digital currency comes in, Joe. They have to have world participation. And if you're not a part of it, you're going to be blockaded out of the system.
Yeah, and I know a lot of you were very happy when the IRS announced with Janet Yellen's help, right, that we're going to be hiring all these IRS agents. And don't worry, because we're going after the billionaires. And today, the IRS was happy to announce yesterday that you're ready for this. They've unveiled a brand new plan. They're going to audit dozens of corporate jet usage as part of its increased scrutiny on large corporations. So there you have it. Yes, they spent $70 billion, Jason, for dozens of new audits on these private jets from the big companies. I mean, yeah, I'm sure that's just going to be a huge windfall here, and everybody should feel really good about it. Just an absolute joke. And here's the funny part. They had a big press release. Heck, CNBC has it on their website. Like, oh my gosh, look, guys, we're doing it, right? We're going to do dozens of audits.
I don't see that as a solution to any significant problems that we have. It just seems like another distraction.
Yeah, let me tell you, it's not a solution to any of the problems. It's just a big old smoke screen. Yes, yeah. Well, you know why they hired him. We all know why they hired him. We'll be back after the break. Eight 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour, Joe and Jason on this Thursday. A quick look at the markets. It's pumping up the jam. Yeah, the bubble keeps pumping. The year of chaos. This is a good day, a big day. Nvidia just blows it out of the park and guides significantly higher as well. The Dow up 260, the S&P up 82 points, the NASDAQ up 370 points, the 10-year note at 432. Crude oil up 69 cents, just below $79 to the ounce. The dollar's kind of mixed. Gold's unchanged. Silver's unchanged. And Jason, again, I think this is going to be this is just how the markets are going to be in 2024. There's going to be great days. There's going to be horrible days. There's going to be everything in between. Diversifying is going to be the key to success, especially with what comes after 2024. Check out our friends over at YRefi, up to 10.25% fixed rate of return. Not correlated to the stock market, doesn't care about the Fed. Heck, it doesn't care about Iran and ballistic missiles. It doesn't care about NVIDIA or the Magnificent Seven or all-time highs or all-time lows. It doesn't care about none of that stuff. And it's fixed rate, which means it doesn't change. No matter what happens, it's not changing. Check it out. InvestYRefi.com. Or just call them at 888-YRefi24. They're a great company. There's no big sales pitches. I mean, you got to have a minimum of $50,000 and all this other things. There's some requirements, right? You got to meet these requirements. If you meet the requirements, boom, it's a done deal. It's just that simple. There's no fees. Heck, they don't even charge penalties. Right? So if you needed, you wanted to do the 5 years, get the 10.25, something happened, you needed your money back, you're going to get your entire principal back, and they're working on it too now. Hey, maybe you're in year 4, and you're like, gosh, I got to have, they're even going to give you some of the interest as well. I mean, they're a great company. Check them out, 888-YRefi24. So just to finish up, listen, you ready? Because the IRS, they're really going after the big guys now. They're saying that more than 10,000 corporate jets operate in the United States. They're going to go after them now. Dozens of audits. Yeah, dozens. Why? Because the agency believes that some companies may overstate deductions while using the aircraft for mixed business and personal travel. No, say it's not true. Yep, and individuals may not be reporting the personal trips via the corporate jet as income, and the IRS, they're going for it. You ready? 3, but hold on, maybe 4 dozen audits, Jason. I mean, so 3 to 4 dozen audits. I mean, that's going to get it done.
Yeah, once again, it's just
big
like last
number
segment.
there, baby. Big number. Yeah, with then a fire, 50, 60, 70,000 people to do 3 to 4 dozen audits. You know where the audits are going. Come on.
Yeah, once again, this is not a solution to anything. It's just a big problem. And, they'd have to do an amount of audits to make things right. They'd have to audit every man, woman, and child in America and every American territory a couple times over. And then all they'll do is just put everyone at 0 and still not have the problem solved. People don't realize how big the economic problems of this country are. Every single dollar that the average citizen owns couldn't pay this country back into a good place, Joe. In fact, to tell you the truth, that would all that repayment of money to the government would just destroy money. We'd go into depression. So you're right, Joe. You know what they want? They want to make sure every single dollar they could possibly get to fund the government to make the budget look a little more sane. But
listen,
tough times ahead, Joe. We know the digital currency. That's why they're there.
This is just my personal opinion. When that currency changeover comes and we go to the digital dollar, everybody that's got cash sitting at home, you're over the $10,000. All of these extra IRS agents. That's what it's going to be for. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, right? No, they're gonna audit. 3, 4 dozen. There you go. Yeah, that's okay, right? I mean, give me a break, right? There's only 10. If there's only 10,000 of them, they should audit them all. Pretty simple. You've hired enough people. I mean, what? One person can only do one audit a whole year, for a whole year, right? I mean, come on, right? They should be able to audit all of them. And again, that's not what they're hiring them for. And if you believe that's what it is, okay. Well, good luck. I hope that works out for you. How about this? Yesterday, and it happens all the time, and it keeps getting worse. We had a 20-year note auction yesterday, the largest tail on record. And as you guys know, as I've told you, all you need to know about these auctions are tails. Tails are not good, right? And the bigger the tail, the worse it is. So obviously when we come out and say this is a record tail, not a good thing. In other words, what we were hoping to sell this debt for, there wasn't enough bidders. And they had to start going down the list. And essentially what ends up happening when this happens is these dealers, these are the guys that have that money in the reverse repo, they've got to step in and buy. They're like, okay, we can't let it go any higher than that. We've got to step in because it's going to cause a problem. 33 basis point tail. Take my word on it, that is huge when you talk about tails. The bid to cover ratio, the last 6 auctions for the last 6 months, it's been about 2.6, down to 2.39. Even uglier was inside of it, the indirects. This is people that, hey, we want to buy these because maybe it's a money market fund or it's an insurance company, right? This is where you want to see the bulk of the sales go. 59% of the auction, historically, they gobble up close to 70%. So this is a big step back from there. Directs only took down 20%. The dealers, Jason, were left, and this is what we were talking about. They had to step in. They had to buy over 20% of the auction. And this is an auction where, the dealers, normally historically were taking down 10 to 15%. So again, this seems to be happening on a weekly basis. And this is kind of the problem as these debts keep getting bigger and bigger. Every 3 to 6 months, we keep increasing the amount we need to sell. And Jason, it's getting to the point, we talk about today. How did the 10-year note get above 4.3% again? Because of this auction yesterday.
Yeah, and Joe, you and I were talking about inflation a little bit again on the beginning before we got on the air. This is we'll see how the Fed tries to change the narrative of inflation, because you said it a couple times. They might be as low as they're going to get it during this phase. I mean, inflation can go down. They can let the markets crash and burn, and then the price of goods and services will just go down because nobody will be able to afford a thing, and they can try rebooting from there. But I think that would upset a lot of their really rich friends that support their actions. So it seems to me that they want to inflate their way to kicking the can down the road, and they're going to just tell us a big bucket of lies in the media constantly about how this is all normal and this is where we got to be. And then if there's an emergency globally, Joe, anywhere on the planet, if there's a huge emergency, another fake pandemic or a big, huge war, something blows up, any number of things like that, Joe, then they'll just say, oh, look, it's happening because of that. It's how many times was COVID blamed for everything? Every single thing that happened was COVID's fault. When we know economically that's just not true. It wasn't COVID's fault that the markets were crashing. They were crashing in 2019. And the magic pandemic showed up just in time. So yeah, it sucks to be at the whim of some rich big club members. But all you can do, Joe, is read the tea leaves and make good decisions on your own situation.
Yeah, and it's really hard, just to give you an idea. We're expecting interest expense on the debt to top $1 trillion this year. $1 trillion. To give perspective, okay, in 2020, now rates were still zero. The debt has grown, $10 trillion since then, give or take a couple trillion. But we were paying $345 billion. So in 4 years, we go from $345 billion, which was, remember, Janet Yellen, go big, right? We're borrowing for nothing. Well, not anymore, right? So we go to $1 trillion this year. Here's the problem. It doesn't stop there. Over the next 10 years, and if things go well, they got to go well, we're looking at just interest payments on the debt going to $1.6 trillion a year, right? And that's if they go well. If they go poorly, right, we'll be paying over $2 trillion, doubling what we're paying right now. But just think about what we did in just 4 years. We've more than doubled, right? I mean, we almost tripled. It's going to be, we're not going to triple it, but more than double what we're paying in interest expense. And Jason, the amount of spending, and you start looking at these auctions, and again, we keep talking about March. When that reverse repo runs out of money, things are going to change dramatically. Now, we got some hints from the Fed minutes. They want to go slow on interest rates. Everybody knows that, right? Most people are saying that it's going to be at least June on interest rates. That remains to be seen. I'll say this right now. Based on what I'm seeing, That may be optimistic, June. Right? Because inflation's been getting hotter. I got housing data. Guess what? Home sales sucked. They sucked. But guess what? New all-time record high price. Right? I'm sorry. Right? That's just what's happening. NVIDIA today, their great jobless claims. And now, granted, no one believes the number, but it's insane. One of the low 200,000. Apparently, all these layoffs. Apparently, nobody's getting fired. They're just saying they're laying them off. I don't know. But how do we pay for it, Jason? That's the big issue. And then the Fed said, okay, quantitative tightening, we're talking about it. But they said kind of the same thing with interest rates. Hey, we're going to go slow. They want to sell off as much as they can before they have to stop. And I get it. That makes sense, right? Because, we're almost to $9 trillion. We're $7 trillion in change. They want to get rid of as much as they can because they know quantitative easing is coming back eventually. But the opportunity for a mistake from the central bank is really big here because they know they've got a really, really hard dance here because there is no good choices, right? They should probably raise rates again. They can't. They don't want to lower them. They don't want to stop themselves off the balance sheet. 800-951-0592. Joe and Jason on this Thursday. And again, they have no good choice here. Right? Inflation is still 50% higher on their fake number. Double, right? Because the fake number is 3.1 and they're saying they want 2. The core is double, right? That's a 4%. And they're talking about rate cuts. It's not a good thing. And now the balance sheet reductions, I'll just say this. I know they don't want to sound the alarm, right? And get people worried. We can't keep having auctions like this. It just can't happen. And it's worrisome to me because I go back to, was it 2019, Jason? Was that the taper tantrum where all of a sudden?
No, that was a few years. That was a few years, like 16, I think, or something like that, right?
Whatever it was.
They were dropping the rates, so I can't remember. Gosh, yeah, it was before 2019, but it was in that time frame.
Somewhere in that time frame, right? The Fed screws up. They were tapering the first time around, and all of a sudden, whoops! And they had to create all these bailout programs and all this other stuff because there wasn't going to be enough buyers for the debt, and we're here again. And so they're saying they're going to start it slow. I have a stinky,
2013, and then they had another so-called taper tantrum in 2016. So two of them, but 2013 was the big one.
And we're going to get. It looks like again we'll see, but quantitative tightening. They are going to start that gradual slowdown. We expect to get that information at the next Fed meeting, and they're saying initially anyway that it's going to start a little slower. But I'm going to tell you right now, I don't feel bad for them. Right? They don't have a good choice, but this is a problem they caused. We didn't cause it. I'm going to say this right now. You can blame, is the government spending like drunken idiots? Yep. But they didn't cause this problem either. This was idiotic Federal Reserve policy that caused it. This is why we got to get rid of this. But they are terrible at their job. But I know they've got cheerleaders out there and CNBC, all the stock channels. Oh, yes, banking's great. No. We don't have to be paying $1 trillion in interest. We don't have to pay anybody any interest, really. but we deal with this bank. Inflation doesn't have to exist at all. How do I know? Well, because it didn't for a huge part of America. You know what? Believe it or not, when we talk about NVIDIA here, America became a superpower with no federal income tax and the gold standard with no inflation. That's the facts. And now the middle class, who's middle class? Is there even really a middle class left? What's really left? Right? Most people that say they're middle class can't pay for their kid to go to college. Most people that say they're middle class can't afford a new car. Most people that say they're middle class, if they didn't buy a home, before the last 2 years, they can't afford a home either. Those are the facts. Those are the facts. How about existing home sales? Another miss for existing home sales. All cash buyers made up a third of all the purchases, which just tells you, right, only, it's still investors everywhere. Home sales remain sizably lower than a couple of years ago. And they're saying multiple offers are common for what he calls, now this is from the National Association of Idiots, what they call mid-priced homes. I don't know what that is. He didn't give a number. Many of homes are still sold within a month, which I believe that's absolutely true. If your home's right, it sells. If your home is a fixer-upper or needs work, you probably got some issues. But all cash deals, 32% of all the homes sold. And Jason, despite the fact that home sales are, we're talking about mid-90s and lower now on existing home sales, prices hit another all-time record high on existing home sales. So again, inflation not cooperating.
Inflation can't cooperate when there's all this money floating around, and even though there's tapering going on as far as the Fed's balance sheet, we don't know who's getting money printed and sent to them. We've got many examples of lots of printing of money and saving certain entities, certain countries. Joe, with the inflation the way it is and what they did in 2020, and with a lot of, you just mentioned, I think it was yesterday, all the countries going into recession, I think there's a lot of propping up going on right now. And maybe some of it's like, hey, how about we'll give you these assets and you sell them off. How's that? Here, see what you can get for these, right? We need to get this off our balance sheet anyways, make us look better. See if you can get something for this stuff that we can't get rid of. Yeah, there's all kinds of ways to do it, right?
Yeah, yesterday during the show, I thought it was Thursday all the way up to the last 2 minutes. So today, we'll find out, we'll talk about it tomorrow, how much borrowing's going on. Because as Jason said, the Fed's tapering, they're getting rid of the money supply, and obviously money coming out, this is something people don't realize. Money coming out of the reverse repo facility, that's going in. Right? That's actually stimulus. That's money going in. It wasn't in the system. It was sitting on the central bank's balance sheet. Now they've got to use it to buy the debt. That's actually going into the system. And then on top of it, so that's like printing money. I'm sorry, but it is. That needs to run out. But then on top of that, Jason, we've got all these emergency facilities, at least the ones they tell us about, which is another way, right, that the Fed is right, they're trying to do two things. They're trying to shrink the money supply and increase it all at the same time.
It's kind of like the U.S. government. They have all these alphabet agencies. They have ultra major control of one aspect of society. Well, now the Fed has all their facilities. That's not the Fed. That's a facility.
Oh, that's a facility.
Don't mention that all of them added together is probably way bigger than the problem as a whole, right?
Absolutely. Patriot Radio News Hour. We get back. We got a couple of good specials for you to get into. We'll be right back. Stay with us. 800-951-0592. Today's specials, we started yesterday with the 10th ounce American Gold Eagle. As far as gold goes, what's the best coin just in case? Right? Hey, I need to barter with gold and silver. I want to buy things that the government says with the digital currency I can't buy. Or I don't want the government to know that I'm buying whatever it may be, 5.56 ammo, or maybe a gun, whatever it may be. The 10th ounce American Gold Eagle, that's the barter coin as far as gold goes, right? That's going to be something where, you know, at $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 gold, right? Hey, you know what? I'm going to get an AR. Here's 3 10th ounce, right? Here's 4 10th ounce Gold Eagles. I'll trade you for it, type of a thing. 1 through 49 at $250. If you buy a roll, which is 50, they come in a roll, 50. We call them the golden dimes. They're $245. Then on silver, a great opportunity we've been presented for the half dollars. Okay, so pre-1965 silver half dollars, $190 a roll on silver half dollars. Jason, that's $5 less than a roll of silver quarters right now. And normally when you're talking about silver half dollars, you're paying $10, $20, sometimes even $30 a roll more for half dollars than you do the dimes and the quarters. Mostly because they made less of them, and they're the desirable coin. When you talk about utility silver, I guess the half dollar's kind of the Cadillac of the utility silver. So $half rolls at $190 at 800-951-0592. So you've really got a lot of variety here for those barter type situations, or just in case I need that needs to happen if it, what hits the fan. And obviously, with what we heard from Citigroup and Bank of America yesterday about where they see gold prices in the next 12 to 18 months, it's just a great opportunity. Same thing, silver. Everybody's waiting on silver to really pick up some great fractional material and not really pay a whole lot for it.
Half dollars are cool. They're they're the large coin that's still really affordable, because Joe, you said when it comes to 90% silver, it's the Cadillac. Silver dollars are kind of the Cadillac, but look how expensive those things are above spot. Yeah, we do sell we do sell the pre 21 Morgans when we have them, and then the 21 through 35 piece dollars. Those are 90% silver too. But there are so many collectors that love that specific coin for silver that there's a premium that's much along the lines of a Silver Eagle, but. To me, it doesn't really matter what silver you get. Get what's on sale and what's the cheapest. And today, having silver halves, great way to get your silver. And then gold, the gold is good too, Joe.
Yeah, 10th ounce Gold Eagles, and then for you guys, you guys that like to get some graded gold, we got an opportunity. I've only got 30. But it's worth it because of the price. We've got 30 Mint State 63 St. Gaudens. And Mint State, just simply look at it like a collectible, like this sports memorabilia. Look at any of the memorabilia markets, right? Condition, right? The better the condition, the more valuable the coin. And they have a grading scale in gold from 60 to 70. Instead of 0 to 10, it's 60 to 70. These are Mint State 63. That means they were uncirculated. When they got minted, they got put into these treasury bags, and then they never saw the light of day. right? The Treasury bag got bought, it got put in a vault, and sat in these vaults, never got circulated, didn't get into somebody's hands. Mint State 63 St. Gaudens $20 gold pieces. We've got 30 of them, and it's about price $22.50. An ungraded Saint, our regular circulated Saints, Jason, today they're $22.35. So for 15 more bucks, you can go all the way up to a Mint State 63. They're all PCGS or NGC grade. Those are the two best grading services. So you got 3 grade options today. 800-951-0592. You can go on the barterable material side with the 10th ounce gold eagle or the rolls of $50, or you can go on the collectible side, Mint State 63 Saints at $2,250, Jason.
Yeah, all 3 items are really good to buy. I mean, the graded gold, even though Joe says it is a 60 to 70 grade, that's the Mint State range. They have lower than 60, but we don't ever sell those graded coins because we don't sell collectibles. Mint State $20 gold pieces, the majority of the weight of that price is in the gold. Yeah, there's a little extra premium because it's a really super nice coin, but, we have lots of customers that love the super nice coins. Our circulated gold, that's great. We sell tons of that. That's our bread and butter, but getting a nice gold coin, when you want to get somebody else into buying gold and silver, you get them a nice flashy piece is kind of a good way to get that person that might be a little hesitant to you know what, that is pretty cool, right, Joe? Or the 10th ounce. The 10th ounce, same thing.
Absolutely. And just so you know, the regular price, $2,360. I mean, you're saving, it's $100 plus off on a 63 Saint today. 800-951-0592. Jason and I going to wrap it up when we get back. We're back here. The 63 Saints are no more. They are sold out on the. Somebody called one $50 rolls. You buy 50 rolls or more. We'll take them down to $185 a roll. If you want to buy a full bag of $50, which is 100 rolls, we'll take that down to $180. So it'll be $18,000 on a full bag of $50, which is awesome. You want a half bag, which is 50 rolls, $9,250. So there you go. We're giving you great deals. The 63 Saints are off the board. The 10th ounce American Gold Eagles 1 through 49 at $250, 50 or more at $245 at 800-951-0592. And Jason, we did get, just to update you, oil inventory reports came in a little later than news, and we get those on Wednesdays. Distillates, huge drop in distillates. This is kind of what we've been worried about. By the way, U.S. crude production, all-time record high, 13.3 million barrels of crude. And remember, all the crude guys are all saying 2025 is going to be a much different year, and supplies are going to get extremely tight. Unfortunately, right now, diesel and jet fuel is just there's just not enough inventory, not enough of it being produced, and right now you've got diesel and jet fuel way above unleaded gas right now, like 40-50 cents on the wholesale side more expensive, which is probably going to mean much higher diesel prices, right? Again, that inflation, Jason, that we keep talking about, that's just not going away.
It's not going to go away. Let's face it. If we just look at it on its face, it's been here for a long time. It's never gone away. It's been a permanent fixture of the Federal Reserve System put together in 1913. Let's face it, Joe. The prices of America are far away from the 1950s, aren't they?
Boy, yeah, you said that. I mean, Jason and I were kind of talking in about stuff that you don't buy that often. Maybe you buy it like, okay, once a year or something like that. It's crazy when you go, you're like, what? A pack of pens, right? And you're like, what? When did pens cost this? Remember, pens were like a giveaway. Anyway, here, I bought 1,000 pens for $50, and you give them away. It's got your logo. It's crazy what stuff cost anymore, and especially, you kind of get used to it, like with the beef prices and bread and chips and all that stuff. The produce has gotten just. Everything's doubled in the produce aisle, but it's that weird stuff that you really, hey, I don't buy that often. Wow, you're just like, man, I never remembered it being anywhere close to that expensive.
It's just going to get worse. It's built in.
Built in, baby. Yeah, it is built in, isn't it? 800-951-0592. Big sale on $50 and 10th-ounce gold eagles. Take advantage. Jason and I are coming right back with the half-empty cup. Jump over to 1360KHNC.com and follow